Welcome back to Let's Play The Punisher, the smash hit LP that everyone loves. This is the final video that I promised nearly 4 years ago. I actually had most of these final challenges recorded back in 2015, but it turns out they're really fucking hard. They're taking forever to finish, and no one was really watching the challenge videos then, so I gave up. Back then, it seemed like my time could be better spent making other videos. But now, not so much, and I'm wrapping up what I started. But it's not revenge, it's punishment. For me. Whole lot happened in those 4 years. The Punisher Netflix series came and went, and fascists took to using the Punisher logo for their own nefarious purposes. So if you're here because to you that skull means that you're pro-cop or anti-gun control or whatever the fuck bullshit you're into, fuck clean off. I do not want you here. With those assholes gone, we can get on to something that I have wasted a lot of time on. The last few challenges of the game. So these final 4 missions happen to follow sort of a pattern. I say that like it's a coincidence, but most likely the developers just got lazy and assigned us the same task over and over again, which is to complete a section without taking any damage. 3 of the 4 missions we're going to do here follow that pattern. And I'm going to play really quickly because I practiced the hell out of these sections, and I'm trying not to make them boring. This one is the easiest of the 3. Take no damage missions. First thing we gotta do is kill the 2 Mafia guys to rescue the Yakuza guy because we need him as a human shield. We could use the Mafia guys, but they shoot each other as soon as you take one hostage. So the Yakuza guy, if you save him, has full health. So he'll be a better shield. We are going to take a lot of fire. Not at the moment. The attention of the enemies is split between one another. But after this room, it'll be all Yakuza, so we'll be the sole target of all bullets. Standing near the doorway like this, it's possible we wouldn't get hit even without a human shield. But just one stray bullet, and it's mission over. Worst of all though, the human shield is not for this room. It's for the next room, which means we have to tango with him all the way over there. This is how you are supposed to play this game. Just slow dance with the human shield all the way through every room of the game, replacing them whenever they die. Because of stuff like this. Those 2 will immediately start firing as soon as you open that door. If you kick the hostage through the door, they kill him immediately, and then the other guy shoots you immediately. Then the next door has another guy waiting for you. This time, if you kick the hostage through, he'll die immediately, but it's just one guy, so you can replace your hostage with him. And he has a much higher health pool than the previous Yakuza guy, so it's a good choice. Get a fresh health bar. This final section is the most difficult. It's got the most enemies, and many of them are the upgraded sword, like the one we're currently holding. As well as the armored Yakuza ninja guys. Usually those guys would start showing up right around now. And there's often 1 or 2 guys wandering around on this bottom level. They'll sneak up behind me most of the time. But this time I got really lucky, and none of that happened. This isn't a difficult mission either way, but it certainly goes faster and more smoothly when no one shows up. Now that's the exit right in front of me, but we can't go there until we save the hostage, so we do have to come to the 2nd level and go all the way across with our human shield. That's an innocent hostage, not one of Frank Castle's hostages. There he is. Now we can leave. Like I said, this is the correct way to play the game. This is how the developers expected you to do it. Clearly the composer didn't expect you to do it this way. The exciting music is completely ruined by this lack of action. But there's an all gold medals run up on YouTube now. It's about 8 hours long, which is the length of my original Let's Play, but I replayed most of the sections of the game multiple times to show it off. So it's not fun. And it's also deceptively easy there. The later take no damage missions are much more difficult. In fact, the next one is the hardest challenge in the entire game. So I'm saving it for last. Instead, we're going to do the one for the Takagi building, which is the one exception to the take no damage rule. Complete the section with 100% accuracy. Now this would be very difficult, but it's missing a stipulation that most other challenges have, which is on hard mode. So if we had waited through Takagi's whole speech and then killed him with his katana, his guards wouldn't have attacked. But screw that. We are not on hard difficulty, which means it's almost impossible to die. You can just withstand hundreds of bullets. And what that means is, we don't ever have to fire our gun. Every enemy I'm going to either ignore completely, or run up to and quick kill, which can't miss. So, firing 0 shots and landing 0 shots counts as 100% accuracy, it turns out. Lucky for me. When I first attempted this mission, I did try to do it the way you would expect, reading the description. Actually shooting all the enemies. Since I played the game on hard mode, I figured I'd have to kill just about everybody to survive. And with the absurd spread that every gun in this game has, as well as the fairly bad hitboxes that a lot of the enemies have, it was basically random whether any enemy you tried to shoot would miss and cause you to lose the mission. So I was getting pretty frustrated, and then I realized I wasn't taking any damage. So I just ran through and shanked everybody. And it was very easy. Completed it in one shot. Most of the other challenges have had a little trick to them that either made them dramatically easier or completable when they otherwise wouldn't be. So I should have known. But this one caught me off guard. Doesn't help that this section itself is very gimmicky. Once we complete that interrogation, that guy will run back to the office, and if he survives the trip, he will end the countdown immediately and unlock the secret door that's right in front of me. So the first thing I wanted to do was just kill as many guys as possible, so that they wouldn't kill the interrogation guy. And even if they do kill him, it's not any harder, it's just 2 to 3 minutes longer. But because you're doing so many quick kills, you fill up your slaughter gauge very quickly, and then you can do this to recover as much health as you need. And we're done. Frank still wants to kill more people, but mission accomplished. He'll get another chance very shortly when we move on to the Mission 16 challenge, which would be the final challenge of the game if I were doing these in order. This challenge is to kill Jigsaw without taking any damage. The final boss. Especially lazy. They didn't even pick a particularly interesting section of the level to do with no damage, just final boss. We're gonna see this one's really, really unfortunate, because the final boss sucks, and this is the worst way to play it. Now, I'm going to pause very briefly here, and that is legitimate RNG manipulation. If you run at full speed all the way over to where Jigsaw is, he will do an arcing missile attack, and the missiles have such a huge blast radius that you're guaranteed to take damage if he does that attack, which ends the mission. So I found that exact spot where you can stop for just a moment, and he'll do the laser fire instead. But if you stop for too long, he will do 3 bursts of laser fire. The third one is almost impossible to dodge. As long as he does 2, you can dodge around him pretty easily. Now, in this second part, in the beginning, he's just randomly running around somewhere, and it doesn't matter. I'm just going to forget that he exists for a while, and kill the white commandos, because they have the Ram's mines that we need in order to actually kill the boss. Plus we need a battle rifle, because we need a gun that's 100% accurate to quickly dispatch enemies. But we also can't drop mines when we have the pistols out because it's 2 pistols and Frank refuses to put one down. You also need to be right near that door when the second white commando comes out, because if he wanders off, he'll start firing on you from too great a distance and he'll be able to take cover. It's a mess. So timing is ridiculously important. Jigsaw's placement right now is very bad. I'd actually rather him not be bothering me at all right now, so that I could still wander around, kill that white commando off in the distance safely, and stockpile enough mines so that I could kill Jigsaw without having to restock a bunch of times. But instead he's camping the respawn point for the mines, so the only place I can get them is from killing enemies, which is always dangerous. While you're chasing them, they can just decide to turn and shoot you at any time, like that. Luckily he missed, which is very rare. And while you're doing that, you can lose track of Jigsaw. He can sneak up behind you and just launch one of his big quad laser bullets. That'll blow up an entire block, do a tiny sliver of damage to you, which is enough to end the mission. This is actually the mission that broke me 4 years ago. I did get a sufficient recording of the much harder mission, but while I was working on this one, every time I made the slightest mistake or got the least bit of bad luck, I would have to redo the entire level, including the jetpack section, plus any number of mines that I had dropped at that point. It takes minutes to know if you've got a good run going, and even the best run could turn on a dime. Like those distant shots, any one of them could have just killed me. This boss was super tedious playing it the normal way. And it was creatively bankrupt for the developers to just say, okay, do it again, but don't take any damage this time. So I decided it wasn't worth it. I don't know how long it took the first time I tried, but I never made it. I know this recording took something in the ballpark of 4 hours between practice and recording attempts, which is slightly longer than the harder mission, but much fewer attempts overall. But that did it. It's over. Terrible, terrible challenge. I really did not want to end on that one because it sucks. Didn't even really get to see Jigsaw's corpse. Not that it's really worth looking at. So, on to the Stark Tower mission. Let's see what it is first.
The eternal sun is
Challenge is take no damage in a section and complete it in under 120 seconds. So, do what we did in the first challenge mission, but without human shields, because that's too slow. So since I have to do this ridiculously fast, I decided to show off the section that we're going to be playing without the take no damage stipulation first, because I will not have any time to talk about it when we're actually doing the mission. So it's this one. We start off in a long hallway with 2 enemies. The second one down there, he could be a real problem. He wasn't this time, but for the most part, that is just a waste of time. Which is annoying when you have to redo this mission 150,000 times. There's this guy. You don't want to do the special kill, because that makes these enemies come running over. The ninja who moved to the left, if that happens, you cannot complete the mission without taking damage. So this one, if that random AI pattern had occurred, it would not have been possible. Then we have to come down this hallway, over to this area with a special interrogation, where there's a bunch of enemies, including a white commando. They'll all guard the exit to the room. For some reason this time they ran away. I've never been that lucky during the actual challenge. And then you get to the finish line. Seems simple, but there's a ton of enemies in there. I took like 1,000 shots. So let's see how I pull this off without taking any damage. Took a long time, but I refined this strategy to near perfection. We're going to start off with a battle rifle and machine pistols. Battle rifle only has 30 shots though, so we don't really have time to aim. I took that guy hostage just to see what the other guy will do. And this is the worst case scenario. I got very lucky he didn't shoot me there, and I had to shoot him in order to stun him before I executed him. We don't have the time to use the battle rifle anymore, so I'm switching to the machine pistols, because it's important to note we don't have to kill the enemies, we just have to hit them once each to stun them and then run past. When I was actually good at this game, I would take the time to use the battle rifle to get about 30 headshots. It was a lot more difficult, but much less luck-based. Getting down this hallway that we're in is entirely luck-based in this strategy. Enemies are firing on me from behind constantly, and if I take too long in this room, they'll catch up and start shooting me from the side. That's unacceptable. So we gotta get down here as quick as possible, and we gotta get past the white commando. To do that, we need 2 headshots with a gun we can't aim. Could take an indefinite amount of time. For me, it only took a few seconds. Pretty fortunate, but we made it. Against all odds. That took a very long time. My original recording that I made in 2015, I made it all the way to the finish line as the timer ran out because I took too much time to kill all the enemies. And it was a photo finish, which I lost. At the exact moment that I made it to the end, the time ran out and it didn't count. So let's see why we did all that trash that I took years on. It was to unlock comic covers. Just the covers of classic Punisher comic books. Not even all of them. We have to complete punishment mode to get the rest of them. And punishment mode is just like an endless score attack thing. I recorded one in an earlier video, and it was a waste of time. Something you could literally just Google up. That is your reward for doing something preposterously difficult. I don't know why I did it. Even if for some reason you want to see those comic book covers in the game, there's a cheat code to unlock them instead. But that is all we had left to see of the Punisher. Just those lazy, ill-designed, sadistic missions. In lieu of those fucking comic book covers, I have compiled the game's concept art, which is a much more worthy unlockable, although entirely unrelated to the challenge mode. And I stuck those in the video description, you can find them there. I recommend checking it out, it's 43 pretty pictures. Now, as much as this is a fun game that I like, I'm not thrilled with how I went about doing the Let's Play all those years ago. Luckily, there's a ongoing, we'll say, Let's Play being done by Dex01, a fellow survivor of the Something Awful forums. She and a co-commentator are taking the piss, as they say. I think that's a better way to go about this game, because it's a little overly self-serious, in a way I didn't really call it on in my Let's Play. So I'll link that LP series in the video description as well. I think it's worth checking out. And you can always check out more of my less embarrassing LPs. I've done plenty that are also written by comic book authors and obscenely violent. You're sure to find something you like. Maybe. So thanks for watching, and enjoy.